"Mom, he needs this more than me." She handed her juice to a sad billionaire. An emotional, heartfelt story from Royal Stories. It was one of those gray, heavy mornings where the sky looked like it had been crying all night. Rain fell in soft waves over the glass windows of the downtown park café, turning the streets into blurry reflections of a cold, lonely world. At a bench just across the street, a man sat still, unmoving in the drizzle. His suit, once perfectly tailored, clung to him damp and wrinkled. His hands, though manicured, trembled around a crumpled photograph. His eyes were vacant, hollowed out by something deeper than the weather. People passed him by, too busy to notice, too indifferent to care. But inside that cafe, a little girl noticed. And that's when everything began. Orange Heart, if you believe in the power of kindness, second chances, and moments that can change a life forever, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, Royal Stories. You never know whose heart you might touch. Orange Heart. The girl was only 7, her cheeks still rosy from the winter air. She clutched a warm cup of orange juice between both hands, her mother sitting quietly across from her. They had come to the cafe as a small treat after her chemotherapy session. It had been a long 6 months for both of them, hospital rooms, needles, tears, prayers whispered into the silence of the night. But today was different. Today, her mother had smiled more than usual. They had made it through another round. The juice was a reward, something the little girl had been looking forward to all week. As she brought the cup to her lips, she stopped. Her gaze was fixed outside the window. "Mom," she said softly, barely a whisper. "Why is that man crying?" Her mother looked. The man on the bench hadn't moved, but from his slumped posture and shaking shoulders, it was clear, he was breaking. He looked like a man who had once owned the world and had lost everything. He didn't seem dangerous, just lost. Before her mother could respond, the little girl slid out of her seat. With small feet and a heart bigger than most adults, she walked toward the door, holding her juice tightly. Her mother called out gently, but didn't stop her. Some moments are too sacred to interrupt. She stepped into the cold air and walked over to the man. She stood in front of him quietly for a moment. The billionaire didn't notice her at first. His thoughts were too loud, his pain too heavy. Then he looked up, and there she was, small, fragile, with no hair under her knitted beanie, her coat far too big for her tiny frame. She held out the cup of juice with both hands, her eyes steady, soft, full of light. "You can have mine," she said. "Mom says we give when we see someone sad, and you look sadder than me." The man stared at her, stunned. It had been months, maybe years, since anyone had looked at him with anything other than expectation, judgment, or greed. And now, this sick little girl was offering him the only thing she had. He took the cup with trembling hands. His voice cracked as he whispered, "Thank you." What no one in that moment could have guessed was that the man was Robert Vale, once the richest entrepreneur on the East Coast. A tech visionary, a billionaire by 32. But behind all the headlines and flashing lights was a man who had lost everything. His wife had died in a car crash. His company had been stolen by his closest partner. He was accused of fraud he hadn't committed. Friends vanished. Money disappeared. And with no family left, he spiraled into a darkness that fame couldn't fix. Robert had come to that bench that morning for one reason. One final act. He'd written the note, left the keys to his remaining assets on a USB in his pocket. But then she came, this tiny girl, with cancer and warmth and courage. And she offered him hope in a paper cup. He didn't end his life that day. He went home, poured the juice into a glass, and stared at it for hours. Then he found the strength to make one phone call to an old friend in law enforcement. Then another to a lawyer who still believed in him. Slowly, painfully, he began to fight back. Over the following months, Robert Vale rebuilt. Quietly, patiently, he cleared his name, won back part of his fortune, and began a different kind of legacy. He never forgot the little girl's eyes, or her words. He kept that paper cup, rinsed and sealed, in a glass box on his office shelf. 2 years later, a small pediatric oncology wing opened in the city. It was bright, filled with murals and laughter. The best doctors worked there, and treatment was free for families in need. Above the entrance, a plaque read, "In honor of the little girl who gave me her juice, and gave me back my life." Her name was Emily, and though her battle was long and hard, she won it. Robert visited her and her mother every month. Sometimes with gifts, other times with nothing but time and a grateful heart. They became family, not by blood, but by something deeper, by a moment shared on a rainy morning when a child reminded a broken man that life, no matter how hard, was still worth living. Heartbreak. If this story touched your heart even a little, please don't scroll away without liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Help us share this moment of kindness with the world. You never know who might be on their own rainy bench today. Heartbreak. Memo special request. Tell us in the comments, what's one small act of kindness you witnessed or gave that changed everything? We read every story.